Sorry about that. We were having some production issues, and now we fixed it. We were muted. Hi, my name is Nathan. Welcome to FTC Live. I'm from Chicago, and I was the team captain for the past 2 years for FTC Team 3507 Robotheosis. This is the live show for anything and everything FTC. We have a lot of great content tonight, and we also have a lot of great content that's in the works. Tonight we will first be doing a recap of the North Super Regional Championship, and then we will take a 10 to 15 minute break and come back with a recap of the East Super Regional Championship. We will be announcing when the South and West Super Regional recaps are going to happen later this week. We'll announce that. You can follow us live on Twitter at LiveFTC, Facebook at facebook.com/FTC Live, and you can join the Discord for the show to receive updates about when we're doing the show, when we're going live, and join the conversation. The Discord link is in the bottom right or bottom left corner of your screen. Additionally, we had some technical difficulties in the production of this show, so we were planning on throwing up pictures for every team when we were talking about the awards, and we were planning on throwing up the Twitch chat, as you can see on the screen there. But when we do go to match videos, we will have the match videos up. Sorry about that. Ethan?
Hey, so I'm Ethan. I'm the co-captain and lead builder for Team 7236 Recharge Screen. As we're doing the show, if you have something to add about a team that won an award, or you just want to suggest a team that should have won or gotten mentioned for an award, you can ping at FTC Live in the Twitch chat, and we'll get to your comment when possible.
Hi, I'm Grace. I'm Shelly, and we're from the Green Girls, Team 7190, in Eagan, Minnesota.
All right. And I'm Nick. I am a mentor for Team 9205, and I'm the resident curmudgeon on the FTC Discord server.
I'm Daniel Pitzcar. I'm from Cleveland, Ohio, and I'm one of the co-captains on 10237 US Robotics.
Awesome. So starting off the night, we will be talking about our Inspire Award winners from the North Super Regional. In third place, we have 9890 Rubies from Minneapolis, Minnesota. So Nick, or the Green Girls, what makes the Rubies so special, and why did they win the third place Inspire?
Okay, starting off, Rubies had some awesome outreach events. They focused on urban areas and starting teams and doing camps in Minneapolis and making sure that kids in underserved areas got a chance to be involved in STEM. If you want to learn more, check out their #UrbanRobotics on their FTC Twitter account.
They also had a fantastically well-designed robot. I've been fortunate enough to do some design reviews with them starting last summer, and they've just thought through every element of the robot, and they've documented it all very, very well. They have a fantastic notebook, and all of that stuff plays into Inspire, even if they weren't top of their field at the competition. All that stuff goes into the awards, and I can see a very strong case for them on Design and Innovate, as well as all the outreach awards.
Yeah, Rubies also has really good autonomous programs too. They're very precise.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Awesome. Our second place Inspire Award, we have 8808 the Ponytail Posse from St. Paul, Minnesota. Green Girls or Nick, do you guys want to talk about what makes them so special and why they got the second place Inspire?
Okay, something really cool about Ponytail Posse is that they started over 20 FLL teams this year and raised over $20,000 for an affiliate partner, High Tech Kids.
They've also done some great work on designing their robots. They had a custom rack and pinion that they've been working on all season. They have a ton of 3D printed parts, and if you just even look at their robots, some of the pictures that are on Twitter or on NSR, it's very clear that they've CAD'd, they've designed every element of it. And speaking from seeing previous year's notebooks from them, they are some of the best notebooks I've ever seen in FTC. They just document things so thoroughly. They have calculations for everything. They were probably one of the top teams for Think, as well as Design, certainly. Not sure there's so much a case for them for Innovate, but they had a just fantastic robot from a not necessarily competition standpoint, but from a just impressive technical achievements.
Yeah, even by looking at the robot, you could tell that it was going to work very well because it was so sleek and
yeah,
things looked really nice.
Yes, absolutely.
All right, so Yeah, now we're going to go on to our Inspire Award winner, 8686 height differential from St. Paul, Minnesota. As you've probably noticed, all three of our Inspire Award winners were from Minnesota, so Nick or the Green Girls, Shelly and Grace, what makes them so special?
When it comes to outreach, Team 8686 Height Differential started a program called Just One, encouraging volunteers to work with high-tech kids in FIRST, and they've gone to many different companies and presented about Just One and have actually inspired a lot of volunteers from Minnesota to come there. Yeah, Height Differential has really sleek design as well. They have these 3D printed wheels on their robot that they went over like 50 iterations in order to hit the right one, working very closely with Stratasys to make sure that they were the perfect design in the end. Yeah. Along with that, their programming design process is extremely thorough and unique, so they have extremely accurate programs in everything they do, and their match performance shows it. With both their autonomous and their robot, they're extremely consistent there too.
One of the other amazing things about them is A, they're 4 guys total. And B, like if you look at their robots, if you got a chance to go over to their pit at NSR or at any previous competition, they have a full CAD model of that robot, and there's so few things on the robot that are not custom manufactured in some way. They have probably hundreds of 3D printed parts, certainly that they've done over the season, but like just in general, they have CNC parts, they have parts that they machined themselves. I was part of, they've come out to Go First, which is an alumni organization in Minnesota, and powder coated that robot themselves. They've just taken so much, they've just done so much to go out there and learn about making and designing robots in so many different ways, not just 3D printing or CNC machining or sending things out to sponsors, but they just hit every element of that on the robot game. And they're thinking, again, certainly one of the best Novics I've ever seen. Like, they're an incredible team.
It is amazing. They also have a panel on the top of the robot that holds all of their attachments, and it's on a hinge, so when you flip it up, you can see all the wiring.
Yeah. That's pretty great.
Yeah. Hey, for everyone in the chat, is my audio better now? And now we're going on to the Think Award. Ethan, take it away.
Awesome. So we have a couple finalists for the Think Award here. We have Team 8393, the Giant Diencephalic Brainstem Robotics team from Baden, Pennsylvania. Their notebook contains a lot of content, pictures, and diagrams, and the cover is actually kind of interesting. It's laser cut wood as opposed to just a 3-ring binder, which makes it very different. And our other nominee, which was the third place Think Award winner, was Team 4177, the Finger Titans from Riverside, Iowa. I've gotten to compete with these guys at every competition I've gone to so far, and they're a great group of guys and gals. Their notebook's long, really detailed, and every entry has their team's goals, struggles, learnings, and achievements for every night, and they have a very extensive outreach documentation. It's all organized very well.
So the Think Award winner was 6134 Black Frogs. The Black Frogs divided their notebook into sections, and they had 5 sections total, consisting of their design process, building their robot, the CAD, the programming, and outreach.
The other incredible thing about Black Frogs is that they're actually a middle school team from Navi, Michigan. Just incredibly impressive that they were able to pull off a Think win at North Super Regional against all those fantastic teams. Our next award is the Connect Award. Our finalists for that award were Team 9956, the NAC from Heartland, Wisconsin, and Team 7129, Robo Raiders from Lebanon, Illinois.
And then the winners for that award were Team 7190, the Green Girls from Again? Again? Okay. Okay, let me see. What do you guys do to win the Connect Award, and what makes your team unique?
So something that we try to do every single year is we go out and we aggressively seek engineers. We have something that we do about every month called the Design Panel, where we bring in the engineers that we've connected with in our community and have them come in and critique our robot and tell us what we could do better with it. Recently, this year, we've opened up our design panel to all teams from Minnesota, and we've had a really great response where we have at least 6 engineers come in, and around 6 teams come in as well, and there's so much collaboration between the teams and a lot of back and forth.
Along with that, we went to the United Nations and we presented at the EcoSoc Youth Forum. So there we talked about first and just generally what it is, but also how it can portray to the goals of the United Nations that they have laid out for the 2030 agenda.
Yeah, so that's just a little bit about us. We also divide our outreach into 2 sections, grow and give. The give events are times that we go out in the community and give back by doing robot demos, and the grow ones are when we go to our engineering facilities.
A final thing about our outreach is we have a custom word or a trademarked word called Giversity, which combines giving and diversity. So a lot of our outreach is focused on diversity, so we give back to kids with disabilities and then also kids in the foster system.
That's awesome.
That's really great.
Yeah. Like, yeah.
Can I ask one question? How'd you guys
Yeah.
get to talk to the UN? Like, how do you even go about being there?
Yeah.
We met with them last year. We actually met with UNESCO last year. And this year we wanted to continue the connection, so we reached out to them again and asked if there was any way we could be involved. So they invited us to speak at the forum and actually come and participate.
So for teams that might be new or not doing a lot of stuff for the Connect Award right now and really reaching out to communities, what would you recommend for teams to get their foot in the door with talking to organizations and companies and so on?
I definitely think company tours, it's a really easy way to get to know people. It's a great way to get sponsorship. And then if you do follow-up outreach events where you want to invite professionals in, like our design panel, it's a great way to recruit members for that.
Yeah, especially like sponsorship isn't always like giving money too. Like if you go to a company that does 3D printing, you could ask for them to 3D print some of your parts. And it's not like exactly money, but it's sponsorship in different ways.
Yep.
Yeah. So now on to the Innovate Award. My team, 10237, US Robotics, we were able to get the 3rd place nomination for the Innovate Award. Our robot this year, sort of, I guess what people are calling a meta bot, but we flip cubes into the glyph pile and we machine and do everything on our own. We don't have any partnerships with any companies. We CNC, 3D print, design everything out of our school, and we're really lucky to get all the machinery and good mentors to really guide us through that process. I think part of the reason we got the Innovate Award was because we noticed a problem and we were able to come up with a solution. It might have not been like the biggest problem in the world, but it really was for us. So balancing on the balancing stone with mechanism wheels. I know a lot of teams struggle with that and figured out different solutions to the problem, but we added a 5th wheel to our robot to stop it from strafing sideways and slipping off the balancing stone. The 2nd place Innovate team was Mecha Dojo Robotics, 1190 from Prairie, Minnesota. So I'd like to speak about that. I'm not too...
So they're from Eden Prairie, Minnesota. This is actually a cool team. They're kind of, they came from Lazy Bots, which is a team that was very big, won Inspire at Northridge Regional a couple years ago. But their robot this year is it's very, very thoroughly designed. They've gone through probably 2 or 3 different revisions on how they're doing their glyph mechanism. They're not a metabot, but they're a clawbot still. They recently replaced their claws that they've iterated probably go through at least a dozen iterations like over the course of the season to a wheel design, which is very cool. They have an awesome drivetrain. So at the beginning of the season, they weren't sure whether they wanted to do a tank drive or mechanism drive. So they built a drivetrain that could do both and was designed to do both. And then just stuck with the mechanism drive throughout the season because that ended up being the right way to go. And then
Okay, go ahead.
I was just going to push this on, so if you have anything to add on that, go ahead.
Yeah, so something to add was that their relic arm is really cool too. So once they have the relic in their hand, their claw, and they go up to the wall, it's all autonomous. They push a button and it goes out and places it itself during tele-op. So that's a innovation.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And they've done some really awesome programming related to that too. They rewrote a bunch of just base stuff in the FTC libraries to make sure that they could do what they wanted to do with the robot. Anyways, on to our Innovate Award winner. Team number 8813, the Winter Soldiers, from Bettendorf, Iowa.
You got it. So this robot solution to the challenge was really unique. I've got to see them twice now. So almost every other robot I've seen this season has a drivetrain of some sort. This team doesn't. So they sit on a balancing stone. They have a 1/2-inch aluminum plate, which acts as a counterbalance. And they have a set of drawer slides, which allow them to slide over in front of the crypto box, and have a really long custom machine claw with some servos that go into the glyph pit, grab a glyph, and then drive back. And they can grab the close relic and score it very quickly and effectively. And they have an automatic balancing system that with all that weight, balances really quickly back onto the stone. It's a really cool mechanism, and I'm very impressed that they were able to do it so beautifully.
It's just an impressive technical achievement.
Yeah.
Like, whether it did fantastically in the competition or not, like, that was just an awesome robot to watch all day. I was game announcing for their division, so they were just cool.
I can't feel my bidding.
Of course.
Everyone who's heavy in that maybe graduated but I love the robot. It's amazing. There was a robot that was somewhat similar back in Illinois. 4965, at least, remember, and the third thing that was in Chicago. They were something similar, but they had a drive through and they parked out in front of the crypto box and had two extra somewhat similar. The team from Chicago could cipher everything, and they did it quite well. So to innovate, it's a really, really cool robot. It's not that well. It's really cool. But the thing is, why? Like, that's the other thing. Why would you do that if you can for a relic? You can get one relic, you can make a relic, maybe on a third time, and then most of the time you get a slow.
They weren't ciphering or going to crypto box with any kind of consistency, but they were pretty consistent about what they were able to do, which was the relic and that row and column. And when you look at the criteria for the Innovate Award, it isn't necessarily that you are a hugely competitive robot. It's that you had an innovative solution to the game challenge, and certainly I can see, especially if they had a really great judging and great notebook to back that up, I can totally see why they won, because they were very, very unique.
I think they introduced something new to FTC, something that we really haven't seen before. A robot without wheels is something that I don't think I personally would go for, so it was super cool of them to take the risk of doing it, and I think it definitely paid off with the Innovate Award.
I mean, they were able to get to North Super Regional with that robot, and it was very well built. They iterated on it, they improved upon it, and it was one of a kind, and they proved that it could get you really far with a robot. You can get really far with a robot with no wheels, as long as you do it well.
Yeah. I just messing it up in the live stream.
Okay.
No. Oh god. Alright guys, this is the technical difficulties of having doing this for the first time.
It's alright, we can keep on talking.
Yeah.
Let me just start that photo one second. Alright, there we go. Now we're back. Sorry about that, everyone who's watching. So I guess now I have a 40-second video to roll. I guess I could have rolled that during that issue there. But this is our innovative award-winning team.
Right now?
Yeah, so as you can see right here, this is from the first qualification match on Forsberg. And yeah, as we get going here, seems that they're going for a relic. And as you can see in the video, they only did one.
30 seconds left.
Looks like that one column. I think it's, yeah, as you can see here, they're
Looks like
slowly
the
but surely
Winter
heading
Soldiers
down over there.
trying to
Heading on over there
for their relic.
putting out that relic.
Oh, and then
Like, could they be faster? Yeah. Like, but ultimately,
Will
that's
they be able to
the
make
criteria
it?
for the Innovate Award isn't that you built a robot that is whatever, a champion robot.
They're struggling.
So-
When they make it.
Let's see why they got it out there. And it was just a blast to watch. Like, nothing like it, really.
Oh, right now.
Alright, so yeah, that video is over, so we're going to pop back to us. So let us continue on. So yeah, now on to the Design Award. My favorite award, I guess. Which I really think my team should have won. I'm still a little salty about that. But I guess we're going to be moving on. So our third place Design Award winner was 10273 Cat in the Hat Comes Back from Elk River, Minnesota. Yes. Do you want to talk about that?
Oh, absolutely. So I'm good friends with the coach for this team, Dan, and they've just they were last year was their first year, if I remember correctly, and they've just hit it running when it comes to design. Like, if you look at that robot, it's just beautiful. Custom CNC'd aluminum. They did powder coating in their backyard. Like, they powder coated their chain with chrome. Like, I didn't know you could do that, but it's awesome. Like, so even if they weren't like a huge meta robot, really, they did all of the, as far as like in the industrial design elements and the balancing aesthetics with functionality, like, they're a very good fit for that award. And I can see how, especially with a good judging presentation and some good notebook and good documentation of their process, I can totally see how they put up there, even if some folks might be a little bit confused as to why they were up there.
Alright, and right before we move on, there's a lot of people in chat complaining about like a humming sound. I don't know, does anyone have like a fan on or a printer printing? I don't know if anyone wants to check their mic connections.
We could run around and have everybody mute their mic for a second. We could see who it is.
I don't know. Alright, I guess let's continue on. So our second place design team was Next Gen Robotics from Afton, Minnesota.
Apple
Also,
Valley.
that's 12/5/28. Nick,
Yeah.
Shelly, Grace, either of you wanna?
Yeah,
speak to that?
I watched these guys when they debuted their robot, and they have a really unique relic claw. So a lot of teams are grabbing the handle of the relic, kind of. Theirs is designed to go under the arms, and is kind of a really cool design. I personally haven't looked into their CAD model or any of that, but just knowing how much time they've put into their robots, it's like, if they document, like, a lot of the teams that are really successful competitively struggle because they fail to document things very well. So I can see how, if they documented their stuff really well, it makes sense to me that they're up there, even if looking at their robot, it's a little bit less of the aesthetic and a lot more functional.
Yeah, they're probably one of the most successful robots I've seen using the non-active intake or just the claws too, because I think they have those like big padded claws in the middle, and they can even grab them on the sides or on the corners.
Yeah.
That was something I noticed while watching the videos.
Along with that, this rookie team really hit the ground running, not only with their robot, just overall. They were super high up in Minnesota State, and their robot has performed extremely consistently. They made finals at NSRs too, and so this rookie team has really just taken the knowledge and they've definitely taken the time to get to know FTC and what it's all about, and they've hit the ground running. Yeah.
Okay, so let's see. Up next, we're talking about the winner, right?
Yeah.
Sweet. So our winner is Team 7261 Omega Robotics from Sioux City, Iowa. This is another team that I competed with both at the Iowa Championships and at North Soup Regionals. They're a group of 4 guys, and their robot is incredible. It's beautifully machined. So starting at the drivetrain, they have some custom machined steel plates. They're all laser cut, and they're beautifully designed, and they worked with a lot of different gearboxes and motors to try to figure out what was perfect. All 6 of their motors are contained within the drive base, and then work with 2 really, really long axles that span the whole width of the drivetrain that power the spindle for their lift, for their glyph mechanism, and then for the relic mechanism, which makes their center of balance really low. And to be able to design their whole drivetrain around stuff like that is really impressive. On top of that, they've used 3D printing really well. They've sourced some TPU filament that's really squishy for their intake wheels from, I believe it was India, and gone through so many iterations to find this perfect wheel that's worked really, really well for them. And overall, the robot looks incredible.
They put a lot of work into making it very detailed. They painted their drivetrain, and that looks incredible.
Yeah.
Their intake works amazing, and I mean, on first glance, you wouldn't even think that's 3D printed. You would think that's an off-the-shelf thing, but they made it themselves and designed it themselves.
Yeah,
And
it's
also,
really impressive.
yeah, I'd encourage teams that haven't played with CAD or 3D printing to definitely get your hands on those things and really try and do that.
And I guess, while we're still on this topic, I think I'll throw in 2 more teams that probably should have been mentioned for the design award. For starters, I think Cybox should have been. They had a very impressive robot. I see everyone's head kind of nodding. I heard, rumor has it that they didn't even have judges show up to their pit, if I can remember correctly. I mean, there's nothing any of us can do about that. That's unfortunate, but I think the judges really let a good team slip through the cracks. And then, again, I kind of want to throw myself out there. I think my team, 3507, had a all CNC plastic, HDPE, and polycarbonate robot. It was our first year ever doing this, and to me, design-wise, it looked amazing, but at the same time, it was really functional for its purpose. We ciphered almost every match. Our autonomous was amazing. It worked almost every match. I think Nick can attest to this. And this was our first Super Regionals, and we made it to our divisional finals. So, I mean, the judges don't look at how far you make it, but I do think we showed that our bot can really work.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
and
It
having
was very, the lift system.
go on, Ethan.
Really clean.
Yeah, I've been in the judging room at North Super Regionals before, and I actually have judged design award. It's hard, and I can see how these teams slip through the cracks, and it's unfortunate. I loved watching Cybox play. They were in the division I was game announcing. That was just such a beautiful robot, and just played the game so well. And Robotheosis is definitely up there, but it's very hard to make those calls. And when you look at the criteria for the award, it ends up not being as much about that performance on the field, even if it was a just gorgeous robot to watch. And it can be really hard from the judging room. So I wish that some of those teams would advance, but it's hard, and I can't really give the judges too much crap for that because I've been in their shoes before.
Yeah, so I guess we can move on to our Motivate Award. Our Motivate nominees were 9968 Glassfire and Team 9205 Iron Maidens.
Nick, do you want to elaborate on Iron Maidens?
Sure. Yeah, we do a lot of stuff that's just going out there and making first known. We did a great job this year in terms of internal stuff about bringing on new members and mentoring some teams, a bunch of teams locally, that I think put us up there. But a lot of the stuff on that award, again, it's if you read some of the criteria, it's like enthusiasm for first and talking about first and getting first out there. And I think a lot of teams that have been at competitions with us, that's kind of our thing. That's what we love doing, and so I could see why we're up there for that.
Go ahead. So our Motivator award winner was 11872 Visible Spectrum from Lakeville, Minnesota. They've done a lot of work. They actually took over First Ladies, and they actually created their own organization called First Friends. So this is a lot of internal work, just trying to get people who are involved with First connected with each other and just making the world more aware of it, along with they've done a lot of workshops and other events. They work closely with schools, elderly homes, and many other places in Minnesota. If you know anything about this team, they are more than excited to talk to you about their community outreach and First. They're just an enthusiastic group of kids who love what they're doing and they love sharing that. This award definitely fits them.
Yeah. And the other great thing about them is they've documented it all very thoroughly. That's part of what gets you that award. There are a lot of teams that do great outreach, but can't give you exact figures for what they do. They can. It's well documented, and I'm sure it's well explained to the judges too. And that's part of why they're up there for that.
So yeah, Ethan.
Oh, yep, you're right. So our two nominees for the Control Award were Team 7047, the Mechanical Monkeys, and from Bloomfield Hills, and my personal team's Team 7236, Recharge Green from Pella, Iowa. So what we did to earn our second place control nomination was we don't have the greatest glyph mechanism for multi-glyph autonomous. So we have a track-based mechanism that has an intake at the front, tracks that run up at an angle, and then it can drop out the back. This is great for grabbing one glyph because it gets into the robot and then you run the tracks to get it into the tracks. Once it's there, to get a second glyph, you have to run the tracks to get it inside the glyph without spitting the first glyph out the back. So we used 3 different infrared beam breaks to help work with the position of the glyph inside of the tracks, using one in our intake to make sure one glyph isn't jammed, and having several algorithms to correct jammed glyphs, and also to keep the position inside the tracks of, oh, now we have one inside, let's make sure we run it in a way that we can grab the second glyph without spitting the first one at the back. We also have our whole glyph mechanism is on 2 linear carriages, so it can move about 3 inches in either direction, which helps us lining up and means we can have a tank drive, which is a little more accurate for encoders, and also still have that side-to-side movement, which is really helpful in driver controls. So, and we spent a lot of time documenting all this and working with our control award sheet. I know I have a lot of time into making sure it was perfect, and we talked a lot about that in judging and with the control judges.
So our control award winner was Team 191 NYAN, Not Your Average Nerds, from Mundelein, Illinois. I apologize if I butchered that.
Yeah, our pit was right next to NIAM's, and I got to talk to them a little bit about their robot and a lot about the other stuff that they've been doing. And it's obvious that programming and the control system are both obvious things that they really work on in their outreach, in their robot. For outreach, they've created a VR game where you can drive around a robot in virtual reality and augmented reality, and it helps simulate the robot and show people like FTC and kind of make it more fun and interactive. And they have innovative solutions to autonomous. They're using computer vision to track the crypto boxes. They use the phone's camera on their robot to look at the crypto box and make sure that they're lining up correctly. And they have a bunch of switches on their side of the robot, which you would be like, I don't think any other team has used switches on the side of their robot. And the color sensors on their robot. And they have one autonomous program that they can change depending on where they are on the field. And what's going on, what color glyph they have. And that ability helps them run. They can run it on any of the 4 positions on the field. Their autonomous was consistent. It did more than the average autonomous did, I'd say, and it was really cool to watch.
So before we get into our promote video, someone from the chat, Griffin, wanted me to add that Nyan also has a custom vision software, basically just to aid them, help them. So yeah,
their control system is incredible. So our Promote Award winner was, let's see what their number was. I think 8581 Idefix from Kent, Ohio.
So play the promote video right now.
The future doesn't start in boardrooms. The future doesn't start in laboratories. The future starts in basements. It is here, in basements, classrooms, and garages, where we design. It's where we program and where we build. It's where we fail and then learn to succeed. We prepare ourselves in basements. When we're ready, we gather our things and head out into the world. And from what we've learned, we have the tools to collaborate and compete, to make friends and inspire others. Sure, we build robots there, but we also build connections. We build teams. We build skills, community, and foundations. And we'll take those foundations to conventions, to laboratories and boardrooms, and together, we'll build a better tomorrow. So what do we want the world to know about first? The future starts in basements, but where it leads, just wait and see. The future doesn't start in boardrooms. The future doesn't start in laboratories. The future...
Alright guys, so as everyone's been asking, everyone else on the Skype is muted right now besides myself, so I don't think I can hear the static. So I think now we're going to go one by one. So if everyone on the Skype right now could mute themselves, I think you guys all know how to do that, right? I think we're ready. So I guess let's start with Nick. Nick, do you want to unmute yourself?
I am unmuted.
Yep, it's you, Nick.
It's me? Well, that's unfortunate.
It's Nick. Yeah, I don't know. I guess everyone else unmute. I guess we'll just continue. Everyone there?
Yeah, I'm back.
Alright, let's pick up where we left off, I think. Yeah, Grace, I think you're up.
Yeah. Okay, so the Judges Award was given for NSRs. It was called Digital Disconnect, and it went to Team 7123, the Fellowship of the Loose Screws from Sioux Falls, South Dakota. After leaving their notebook 5 hours away in Sioux Falls, the team suffered many an unfortunate disconnect. But even after all the hardship, you didn't see the team being down on themselves because of it. Just to add in, this team was so nice. We actually met them in North Dakota at their state championship, and they were probably one of the best teams we've ever met.
Yeah, I got to play a match with them. It was our first match of the day, and they were really positive the whole day. They were really excited to play, and they were more than happy to talk to us about their robot. And yeah, they're just a great team.
I would have loved to see how they did had they had a notebook, because it disqualified them for the majority of the Judges Awards, if not all of them. So they're definitely somebody to look out for next year. Yep. Excellent. Do you want to talk about the final?
Sorry, yeah. So now we're going to talk about the division finals. We'll first start with Ortberg. Ortberg had the first alliance, team 12-31, 50-40, and 76-93, versus the number 3 alliance, team number 10-4-35, 35-07, and 99-56.
Oh yeah, this is me. Sorry, I left to go grab a new...
Sounds like you're muted.
Am I back?
I shouldn't be muted.
I think I'm good now. Hey guys, on the Twitch, can you guys hear
My
me?
stuff is up.
Am I back? All right, perfect. Twitch can
They
hear
say
me.
they can hear you.
Yeah. All right. I guess we'll continue. So in the semifinal, the Blue Alliance scores.
Nathan, you're muted.
Yeah, Nathan.
Skype, can you guys hear me?
Oh, still muted.
Twitch.
It seems like they can hear him on the live stream.
Yeah, the live stream can hear
Okay.
me.
Okay.
So in the semifinals, the Blue Alliance scores
Yeah.
Okay.
were 10-4-30.
No,
Nope. Oh god.
Oh, man.
Okay.
No,
I
you're
can
good.
hear you.
All right.
Just
Perfect.
bring the mic closer to you. No.
Perfect. Can everyone hear me now?
Nope.
No. Yes.
One moment, guys. We'll figure this out.
No. Wow. Sorry, everyone who's watching. I don't really know what's going on. Skype, can you guys hear me?
Should we just keep going?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll take the rest of Nathan's part,
Okay.
I guess.
Green,
You can hear me now?
Yep, we're good.
Okay. All right. So, in the semifinals, the Blue Alliance scored when the Blue Alliance win 10-40-35 and 35-07. 35-07 worked together. They scored 578 and 573 points, which was significantly higher than when 12-2-31 and 50-40 were together, which resulted in a score of 510 points. We were expecting, so this is from Nathan's perspective right now. So they were expecting a very winnable match against the Blue Alliance. So when 35-07 sat out, 99-56 wasn't able to match what they could do. So winning the final two matches wasn't realistic for Blue. So second finals match, only one of the Blue robots had working autonomous. So Blue started the finals, match 2 losing by 105, which, if you're familiar with this year's game, isn't a tenable situation if you want to win, unless the other alliance messes up pretty majorly. So Nathan's going to play finals match number 1 for us, and we can talk a little bit over that. He's working on it. It'll get up there eventually.
Both red jewels are off. Both blue jewels
Yes,
are
you guys
off.
should be seeing this finals match. And
104.35.
so
Circuit breakers lining up. Over on the red, looks like red has placed 1 so far. Make that 2 by nuts and bolts. 3507 Robotheosis placing 1 in the right column.
Drivers, pick up your controllers. 3, 2,
But they'll
1.
be tied going into telly.
So pretty much everybody ran into it very tight.
This is going to be a game of who can make their sacks faster
Yeah,
and more
jewels off for
efficiently.
everybody.
50,
All
40,
right,
nuts
now
and bolts
we
already have
see everybody go
stack
into
of
the
2.
match.
7693 working on building their stack. Circuit breakers
So
dropping 2 in at a time.
10-4-35 was a really fun
3507
robot
already
to
has the
watch
first.
because they had a completely unique glitch mechanism. It was just, it was hilarious because they ran them side by side. Pretty much everybody else was running them stacked vertically, And so watching them all that tournament, because like nobody else had a robot that was like that, and obviously it turned out pretty well for them making it to the finals. The other thing I'd like to mention is so 3507, so appreciate their robot has curves. So many robots don't have curves on their robot. Okay, 3507 is just curves everywhere, and I love it. That's the kind of things you can do with CNC, and like even when people don't do CNC, like when people do CNC stuff, oftentimes they'll just do a bunch of sharp edges because, like, I guess they haven't discovered the round tool in their CAD program of choice. And it's like, you don't need to do that if you're running a CNC. A CNC doesn't care if there are curves. It can look better. It's great. So by the time of the match, everybody's pretty close to or is already at a cipher. And yeah, we're a little bit late. I'm watching on a bit of a delay, so
Yeah.
looks like that's over.
Sorry about that, guys. There's a lot of miscommunication because they're not hearing me, but you're hearing me.
All right. So finals match 1.
Let's move on. So now we're going to turn to the Tinker finals. The number 1 alliance on red comprised of 10-0-91, 83-93, and 71-29 against the number 2 alliance on blue of 72-61, 86-80, and 11316. In the semifinals, the number 1 alliance blew away the number 4 alliance and nearly hit the soft cap of 628 points in both of their matches. And the number 2 alliance, though, only hit 583 and 483 during their 2 matches. In the finals, the number 2 alliance took the win, in which they hit the soft cap once and exceeded the soft cap another time. We're going to watch the second finals match where the blue alliance exceeded the soft cap, scoring 658 points.
Timer, 3, 2, 1, go! And we have 2 red jewels displaced by the blue alliance. Do we have 1 blue jewel displaced by the alliance point? And we have a right key, remember, so we have glyphs by the blue alliance in both of the right sides. On the red alliance, we have 1. I can't see if the refs are going to score that other one, so we will not make comment on. 393 is delivering additional lifts during this autonomous period is 11316.
Drivers, pick up your controllers. 3, 2, 1.
Okay, so they're off, and these are fast-moving robots, guys. They can deliver 2 at a time very consistently. Now, 11316 had to remove 2 glyphs to put them in the correct order and make sure we get the right cipher picture. 7261 is already finishing its first column. Over there on the red alliance, 823 is finishing its second row. All of these robots can pick up 2 glyphs at a time. Now here on the near of the blue, we have a full column. And so 7129 is setting up to grab the first relic as 8393 goes to work, finishing Snake Cipher on the far side of the red alliance. So that's the cipher we've seen in this match. And now we have a second column here on blue alliance. Both have 2 columns. Let's see, 8393 bringing up 2 more glyphs. Boy, the glyphs really kind of spread out. We have a good cipher on the blue alliance. So cipher's done, 1 for each alliance right now. Oh no, and 7129 is tipped over and probably out of commission for the balance. Let's see if they flip themselves back up. Can they get on their feet? Wow, look at that. They are on their feet. Congratulations to 7129. 7261 is taking the second relic out. We are in the end game, folks. And we have 2 upright relics in the blue alliance. A full second cipher here in the blue alliance. Can 8393 in 20 seconds finish that cipher? And can the red alliance deliver on the relics? The relics are not in a position to be picked up, so they're going to go to the balancing stone. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and we have 4 robots on the balance.
are going to move into the finals. Ethan, do you want to talk about the finals?
Yes, so the Orberg finals pitted the Red Alliance of 122-31, 50-40, and 76-93 versus the Tinker Alliance on blue of Team 72-61, 86-80, and 113-16. Tinker ended up winning the finals, so congrats to those teams, 7261, Omega Robotics, 8680, Kraken Pinnin, and 11316 Weapons and Mass Construction. And now we're going to watch the third finals match from the North Super Regionals finals and the last North Super Regionals final match ever, where the Blue Alliance once again exceeded the soft cap and scored 658 points.
Go! And we're off into the autonomous period. We have four jewels displaced appropriately by the various teams. Who will place the glyph in the left? Okay, we have one on the blue, two on the blue. Will the red get some glyphs placed in the left for the bonus? Two more glyphs for the Blue Alliance. We have two left for the Red Alliance. But 7261 is also, oh, that won't count.
Pick up your controllers.
So right now, blue has a little head up.
2, 1.
All right. $72.61 has always been fast. Got two sets of two. As does 86.80 have two sets of two. They're all hard at work. 54.40 has the first column. Both of the Blue Alliance have two rows. 12231 has two rows of two. But here we go, 7261 is finishing two columns already, and what the Red Alliance has one column. And now they're matching it with two columns, and 7261 says, I got my third column and my first cipher is done over there in the Blue Alliance. The second Blue Alliance team has one column going on two here, and they're stood up and they're steady. Okay, 5440, working on getting that third glyph in there. They got one more to go. All right, now we have 12231. They got their first column. We have a second cipher, the first one for the red. Do we have a cipher over here on the, it looks like a snake cipher. All right, so we have a second cipher on the Blue Alliance. We have one relic being placed already for the blue in the furthest recovery zone, and now the red places there first. Oh no, and it's down. But 8680 is delivering the second relic for the blue team. They're kind of in the way over there. The blue has two down. We have 15 seconds left in the game. Okay, and everybody's balanced. We have 8 seconds. And one cipher not complete on the Red Alliance.
Hey guys, so we're back. Of course, they can't hear me, so I'm just going to do the outro. So thank you everyone so much for tuning in to the NSR half of this show. We're going to keep the live stream up, but we're going to take a 10, maybe 15-minute break to bring in our East Super Regionals guests. So stay here, stay tuned, grab some popcorn, a drink of water, or whatever you need to do during this short little break. Have some fun in the chat if you want. We will see you shortly. Go. Hey guys, and we're back with some new people. So I'm the same Nathan. I'd actually like to say our title's wrong. Welcome to First Vex Challenge Live. We're going to be recapping sorry. We're going to be recapping the East Super Regional. Ethan and I are back to host the show, but first let's meet our East Regional team. So Arjun.
So I'm Arjun. I'm in Rockville, Maryland, from Team 9794 Wizards.exe.
Hi, I'm Nate. I'm from Newton, Massachusetts on Team 12897 Newton's Law of Mass.
Hi, I'm Justin from Kennett Square, Pennsylvania. I'm on 7423 Flaming Phoenix.
Okay, so starting off, we'll be talking about our Inspire Award winners from the East Super Regionals tournament. In the third place, we have 6055 Gear Tips from Lincoln, Massachusetts. So Nate, can you tell us a little bit about your fellow Massachusetts team?
Absolutely. So 6055 Gear Ticks, they're a really innovative robot this year. Dare I say they sucked. They built their own vacuum, so they had completely custom designed compressors, vacuuming, and whatnot.
They suck.
Okay, we get it. And just the level of detail and just absolute, just like out there. I don't think that any other team that I can think of off the top of my head would have gone to such lengths to really innovate and push the limits of this challenge.
Yeah.
And really what we have legal in FTC, because that kind of stuff isn't legal. But they do a lot of outreach. So they mentor many FLL teams. They work with Boston Dynamics, the company behind all those really fancy walking dog robots. And they also created a texting service which will text you match results at certain competitions.
That
which
was
is really
actually
cool.
That was actually really cool and useful. It would show us the results way before the tournament would actually show the results too.
Yeah, because the tournaments are normally waiting on results. They just wait for a match to end and then they show results, but you want results as fast as possible.
Yeah, the texting service was a lifesaver.
That is pretty awesome. And do you know if that'll be at Worlds randomly?
No, I haven't talked to them since before East Super Regional.
Cool. Well, we can cross our fingers. You guys have anything else to say on the Gear Tips?
Gear Tips, if you're watching, please texting service at Worlds.
Yes.
Also, hit us up next year if we can join outreach.
So our second place Inspire Award team came from Cincinnati, Ohio, and our second place Inspire Award was awarded to team 130 or 10030 Seven Sigma. Justin, could you give us a little information about what Seven Sigma does?
So I know for a fact that their robot was really, really well done. Their design was very good. They had a very reliable, more or less meta robot, but still a very good pass-through robot that was reliable and they ciphered many times. They were also, I believe, the winner of the Control Award, as we'll get to that later, but that they were overall really good around in the robot part, but they also did a lot of outreach with their school district and because originally their school district had no robotics teams or program, more or less, but they helped start that and get that up and running.
They're a really fun team. I've been around them a couple times, and they're an awesome group of guys. They've actually helped us troubleshoot a few issues so far this season.
So now we're going on to our first place Inspire Award winner, which was 9794 Wizards.exe from Rockville, Maryland. We have Arjun here from the Wizards, if he will give us a little brief about their win. Before he starts, you can't see it in his camera because I had to narrow it down, but off to Arjun's left is all of his team's Inspire Award banners from state tournaments. So
he's flexing him.
We all decided to be with you.
Okay, so like for our team, we actually spent a lot of time on our robot. So every single person on the team helped with either a subsystem of the robot or the programming of it. And so even though we do have a good robot, we often like to help other teams. So that's one of the things we like to do a lot. So we've done a lot of outreach, like FTC block programming training sessions, and we've started a lot of FLL junior teams. What I usually do is I mentor FLL teams. And so another big thing we've done is tried to get FLL junior into our school curriculum. And yeah.
They also made these really cool cipher things where with the little relics on the bottom. These are really cool.
Yeah,
I mean,
those are pretty awesome.
And they're also just a good, insane robot. I mean, they won the tournament, I think, as the second pick, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
We were the second pick of gluten-free.
With gluten-free. So, yeah, Nate, do you want to continue on with the Think?
Absolutely. So Think Award, our third place Think Award winner is 12377 Hopkins Robotics from New Haven, Connecticut, which isn't quite as local to where I am. But our second place Think Award winner was 9794 Wizards.exe. I think you're going to hear their name a lot throughout the stream tonight. They're a very strong awards team.
Hey, Arjun, do you want to say some awards next time for the rest of the East region?
Yeah, Arjun.
Yeah.
Come on, Arjun.
Ethan, would you like to continue with our first place Think winner?
Yes, so our Think Award winner was Team 8397, Team Beta from West Chesley, New York. We weren't actually able to get any info on their notebook, but here's what the judges had to say about them. So this team wowed the judges with their detailed, iterative process. Among every other, their notebook swam to the top. They may be the second letter of the alphabet, but their notebook was numbered.
Cheesy.
The judges
It's really
always
great.
have such ridiculous puns. Wait till
They
you go back
do.
and see about the brainstormers.
Oh gosh, they're
Brainstormers. I'm from Team Recharge Green, and we had an autonomous program that made our opponents green with envy. That one was pretty bad.
We had just on that, Illinois does the weirdest puns ever. Every award. The MC just started dying at Illinois because he was like, guys, I just can't. I'm sorry.
As an MC, I was an MC for qualifiers, and the judges don't put as much effort in there, but in Massachusetts they do give like descriptions for the award winners, and some of them were just, I couldn't get through them with a straight face. Anyway, Justin, speaking of Massachusetts, Justin, would you like to continue with Connector?
I don't really know the most about Canton, but I certainly can talk about Eborg for the Connect Award second place.
So as much as I'm sure everyone wants to hear about Eborg, I personally really enjoy the Canton Robodogs as a team. So I feel like I should say something about them. They really go out there and they try and connect. And like not just with companies, but a lot with FTC teams. They're like at scrimmages, they're always talking with other FTC teams. And in general, as a team, they're a very open and like nice to talk to team, which is like it really makes them stand out.
Yeah. And then second place, the Eborg, they were actually the Inspire winners at Pennsylvania, which got them into their East Super Regional. They worked really heavily with a lot of companies around them and did work with mentoring, but mainly Eborg was actually, small fun fact is they spent a lot of last year learning how to become a good FTC team while not being as competitive in the game in the season that year. And they worked really, really hard and made a lot of connections early and were able to take that and put that into their Connect Award this year.
And okay, so our winner for the Connect Award was Team 8699, the League of Extraordinary Roboticists from Danbury, Connecticut. And so they've done a lot to interface with their and engage with their business community. So they've partnered with United Technology, UTC, and Branson in order to for engineering mentors. And then they've also worked with over 9 companies in their area. Another big thing, one of their main initiatives is to actually acquire space for a youth engineering camp, which they actually did in their area. And then they also do a lot of STEM promotion at their school and in their city. They are in a league of their own.
Oh God. So now on to the Innovate Award. Another team which maybe my team should have won or been looked at for North. Whatever. So our third place Innovate Award winner was 8644, the Brainstormers from Lexington, Massachusetts. And our second place Innovate Award winner was 2818 G-Source from McHenry, Maryland. Our first place Innovate Award winner was 6055 Gear Fix from Lincoln, Massachusetts. So Nate, you want to tell us a little about Gear Fix?
Absolutely. I remember, so my team went to both Vermont and Massachusetts states, as did the Gear Ticks and the Brainstormers, actually.
And I was there too.
Right, Peter was there too. And what we saw there, I remember I was scouting, and I showed up to the pit, and I saw that robot, and the first thing I thought is Innovate Award. Just, it's ridiculous. Like I mentioned earlier, they're using a suction system to pick up the glyphs, and then they have a rotating basically turntable that can turn the glyphs sideways or forwards, and they just put them into the crypto box like that. And just the amount of detail that went into that design, there's not a single non-custom part in that entire thing, because buying commercial off-the-shelf parts to do something like that is illegal in FTC. So they had to completely custom design all of their parts. They have custom piping, they have custom compressors, and they have custom fittings and whatnot. It's just an incredible design. They also have a shootout relic arm that basically it sucks on the relic and it pulls it back and shoots it out the side of the field and drops it. It is incredibly cool looking. Really hope that we get a chance to see a match video of them later. But the judges, I definitely think were right when they said the judges agreed that this was a very innovative design. It not only swept the judges' decision, but easily vacuumed up this award. I really think
that was
about this.
Yeah.
Okay, so up on to the design award. The third place design award was team 7182 Mechanical Paradox Cube from Cantonsville, Maryland. Second place design award was team 9867 Evolution Robotics from Hadley, Massachusetts. And the East Super Regionals design award winner was team 8644 the Brainstormers from Lexington, Massachusetts. So Nate, do you want to tell us a little bit about the Brainstorm?
Oh man, this is like my favorite team to talk about. So, first of all, I want to acknowledge 9867 Evolution, the second place design award winner, and also a really strong performing team that I've seen them throughout the season from qualifiers to being their alliance partner in states, and now seeing them at East Super Regionals, unfortunately not being able to be there with them. But they're a really hard-working team, and I'm really glad that they were able to get a second place design. But the Brainstormers, they are insane. The thing that I think separates the Brainstormers, because there are a lot of robots with really fancy design. I've seen everything from, I'm not sure if anyone's heard of 81Point's 5 Degree of Freedom robotic arm that's as tall as I am. I've seen everything from that to robots that use all kinds of complicated design elements to do really innovative and different things. What makes the Brainstormers unique is that they invented the Metabot, and they do it better than basically anybody else right now. They are incredibly consistent. They may or may not be the highest peak performance match that you can have, but they are very consistent. They hit that 99% every single match. And that's what really makes them such a great team.
They're also so fast that they can make up for any problems that they may have. And that's kind of also why we picked them, because you just have to be the first to get your two ciphers, or otherwise you're going to be dealing with the worst flip.
So yeah, in actually one of the finals matches, they had to make up for other problems that happened. So yeah.
All right.
Yeah, that was.
But what's really, I think that for me, like the best design element of the Brainstormers robot is their intake. It never doesn't work. And the thing, they drive up to a glyph that's in their robot.
Yeah.
And I got the very rare chance to actually talk to a member of the Brainstormers at Mass States. about their intake, and they said that they prototyped it. They went through so many different iterations, and they tried basically every different kind of wheel they could get their hands on. And they say it's their secret weapon.
Yeah.
Peter, wait, before we continue, everyone's happy that you just smiled.
I smiled.
Well, you know, Peter is a really, really funny guy. I'm not sure if anybody watching or anybody here has seen the Betrayal video. I feel incredibly lucky to witness it in person and have been the team that the brainstormers picked. So.
Oh my god.
So, one other team I would like to mention about the design award, Team 12601 Roborstorm. They had an absolutely beautiful robot. It was all CNC'd, so aluminum CNC and some plastics, including Delrin, I believe. And they had a very unique way of doing it too, or unique way of scoring glyphs, where they had a piece that would grab them, and then that would flip up to reveal another identical piece that was right underneath it, with very small powered intake that would grab them, and then you'll be able to dispense them too. It was pretty consistent, and it was scoring pretty well. And then that entire system that was on two arms would then convert into a relic scoring mechanism. So they had all of their scoring mechanisms built into one system. From when I talked to the people at Roborstorm, they said this was all done by one member on their team who apparently, after doing hand sketches, hand wrote the CNC paths. And was able to CNC almost the entire robot. And I would have thought they were going to be up there for something like Design or Innovate, but their robot was certainly a very well done robot.
There have been pictures of it in the FTC Discord, and there have been pictures of it being sent around. Unfortunately, I don't think we're going to be able to get one up on the screen right now. But
yeah, we haven't since that.
Yeah,
Technical
sorry.
difficulties with that.
Live streaming is a lot harder than it looks.
Okay, so next up we have our Motivate Award winner. The third place Motivate Award winner was Team 4029, 2 Bits and a Byte from Lexington, Maryland. The Motivate Award.
It's Lexington, Massachusetts.
Massachusetts?
Lexington.
Yeah,
right. They are an amazing team.
Wait, did I write the wrong thing?
I probably read it wrong.
I wrote.
Yeah, you wrote the wrong thing. They're an incredible team from Massachusetts.
When I was
anybody goes
down,
interested, should definitely.
Whoever wrote my script wrote MD and MA, and I kept confusing Massachusetts. So,
that was me.
My bad.
Yeah. So. Yeah, 2 Bits and a Byte, certainly an excellent team. They've been one of the most consistent teams I've known for a really long time. Actually, I had a friend of mine who moved from our school up to Massachusetts, actually is on 2 Bits and a Byte. And they do a lot. They help set up, I believe, they worked on setting up FTC teams and mentoring a lot of FLL teams. But overall, they've been a really good team for a really long time, and it's good to see them being so consistent.
They also host the best qualifying events. Yeah.
Okay. So the Motivate Award went to Team 3982, the Griffins. And so this team was a Motivate contender. At their pit, you could see they had a mob of people usually around them, and they had a big speaker, and they would just start teaching people how to do their dances. And then, so they're from a Jamaica College robotics team in New York, and so their main initiative was to actually start 9 FTC teams in Jamaica, and next year they're planning to host the inaugural bobsled FTC qualifier in Jamaica.
That's pretty cool.
And so, so for the Control Award, second place Control was my team 9794, Wizards.exe.
Yeah, June.
Of course.
And so we use 16 different sensors on our robot, and so one really cool thing we do, among others, is use ultrasonic sensors to align the robot, and it chooses which autonomous program to run. So we just place the robot on the stone, we align using the ultrasonic sensors, and then we have a color sensor to detect which balancing stone. So that so we can never screw up running autonomous.
Do you have one autonomous program?
Yeah, we only have one
Wow.
auto. Because we've had
We need to get
too many times where we've run the wrong auto.
We need to get your programmer on here next time. Or
Yeah,
you the programmer.
we need to have a programming show.
All right, everyone
Alright,
who's
so-
watching, if you're a programmer, ping me or Ethan in the FTC Live Discord, and we'll hit you up in a few weeks when we do a programming show.
For sure. We're up to our third place Control Award winner. That went to Team 8644, the Brainstormers, who also won the Design Award. The Control Award winner was Team 1030, 7 Sigma Robotics. Their team worked extensively with OpenCV, mounting their phone on a 2-axis pan and tilt arm to vision track the CryptoBox and use various other computer vision tasks. In addition to using several driver control enhancements, including automation for their dump bucket and jam detection.
So it's really cool. I was watching their robot. So they literally just have their phone on a pan and tilt so that they can rotate around and use the back camera for everything they need to use. So they don't have to settle for using the front camera for one side of their robot.
Yeah, so going off what Joshua said in the chat, yeah, 11115 gluten-free did not get a control nom, which is pretty wild for the fact. I mean, I'll let Peter talk about that in a second, but just from someone watching, I watched a little bit of ESR on Sunday. Of course, I got NSR on earlier, but it's just insane. They did this. You guys had a 6-glyph auto one time, right?
We did, yeah.
And then a consistent 4-glyph auto. So yeah, why don't you give us a little insight into your autonomous?
Like, I couldn't tell the difference between them driving their robot and their autonomous run.
Oh my god.
That's a good. So one of the things, as far as Control Award goes, we did definitely not enough documentation, and it's kind of a lesson for newer teams who are looking to advance off of that. One of the things that we're looking to improve for World is to link up the Control Award sheet to the notebook, because I don't think we did enough of that. And it was just kind of a last-minute effort that it really shouldn't be. Some of these teams are coming in with Control Awards that are beautiful documentation of everything they've done, all their algorithms, and we just didn't have the time, being also 2 members. But looking into just how it works in general, it's more simple than people give it credit for, I feel like, because it's all fundamentally rooted in just knowing where you are. And our entire FTC experience was devoted to figuring out how can I know where I am with the most accuracy. And that was taking place basically with just 3 little wheels on the bottom of our robot that would track in 3D, 3 dimensions, all of our movements independent of what's happening on the wheels. So that allows that doesn't care about slippage, that doesn't care about if we're pushed by another robot. In fact, it could be pushed across the field, rotated, and it would actively recalculate, okay, I'm at point A and I need to go back to point B. And that was just so consistent for us. And it's a different programming style. Instead of me saying, okay, go 3 rotations forward, then turn 2 rotations to the right, there's none of that. I say go to coordinate X, Y, and it's going to actively recalculate how do I get there, and what is the shortest path for me to take. Mechanically though, one of the things that makes it fundamentally a lot easier to work more consistently is stretching out intake, because it has a lot of room for error. It can be left or right, but it kind of just guides the glyphs into the center no matter where it really is. So it's a really nice solution that doesn't require extreme accuracy, even though we planned for it. As far as speeding goes, our entire system was also designed on having the most room for error, assuming that our wheel tracking would have some error in it, because it's an error accumulating algorithm in the end. So we feed the cues by kind of pushing them in. But when we push them in, we do it in a way that if it's off to the left or right, it will orient them in diagonal, and that means you can accumulate a whole lot of error and have still a whole lot of success as long as you're within half a column. As far as finals goes, though, it was a little bit of an embarrassment because we almost took down our entire alliance just because of penalties, and it was a problem we didn't foresee, and the judges called it right. They did everything. I don't disagree with the judges' calls at all, just because what happened is in autonomous, we had delivered our first trip, and 2 of our cubes didn't quite go in right. So then, during the subsequent trip, we ended up pushing in 4 cubes at a time, which each of those, since you're scoring more than 2 glyphs, is 2 major penalties. And that's a big no-no. So that basically took us out, and we got the world record and still lost. It was...
Yeah.
But it was all correct. So we're looking into pretty much redesigning how we go about that to not get that penalty. It's always going to be a risk, and it's just always going to be something that could happen, but we're just going to have to take. I mean, we can limit it as much as we can, but in the end, and for other teams attempting multi-glyph, it can be hard because if you mess up, then it's just so many penalties. So you have to be really, really consistent if you're going for multiple glyphs, or at least more than one set.
Yeah, so Justin, do we want to continue on with our promote awards?
Yeah. So, in 3rd place for the Promote Award, you had Team 39A1, the Griffins, who, I saw all of the videos at ESR. Griffins, their video was all about their work and how in Jamaica and the countries by starting up different FTC teams and what they were able to do to promote first in there. Schrodinger's Hat, I kind of forget their video a little bit, but they came in 2nd place, Team 3595, and then Team 6347 Geared Up was the winner for the Promote Award. Nathan, you have the video up.
Yeah. Yep. Here we go. All right, and we're back, and for everyone complaining about the static, we're going to just mute ourselves if we're not talking. Yeah. So, Peter, let's get up.
Hey, so for Hopper semifinal match 1, that was quite a round. That was when we had the world record, and yet we still lost because of penalties, and it was a fair penalty. But I think I already went over a lot of it. But after the first match, we came back with brainstormers, and we had to actually cripple our autonomous a little bit to only get 4 because of that penalty problem. But that consistent 4 was better than 6 that could have taken the entire alliance out. And since Arjun's here, we played with both brainstormers and wizards, and it was interesting strategically how we would play differently between the 2 teams, knowing that like wizards was a strong relic, as well as but brainstormers was a faster cipher builder. So we definitely strategized differently per game, depending on who we were playing with, to bring out the strength of both our alliances. And in fact, one of these matches, our robot had complete ESD, and we were able to actually still parallel all our processors by simply having the brainstormers continue cubes while we simply did relics because our cube thing was dysfunctional. And it's just the level of redundancy.
We're gonna watch that match soon.
Oh, okay. I won't go into that yet.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're gonna. Yes, I'm queuing up Hopper semifinal match 1 right now, and go. So yeah, you guys can see on the Skype. So you want to tell us what's going on right now? You can do that.
Sure. So I mean, this is our autonomous. We're simply going and executing our default program, and here you can see the critical thing that caused all the penalties. We had a small mechanical error that we're working on, and 2 of those cubes were just placed a little bit outside, and that little bit amount out means that we were scoring I think 4 at a time or even 6 at a time, I forget. And those major penalties are what killed the round, and it happened.
Yeah.
There's beginning of teleop.
Yeah. So in teleop, the Red Alliance is a lot better with the penalties, and so yes, this is the world record. They do everything right, basically.
But you can see now we're removing the glyphs in autonomous that were incorrect. That's a critical step that, if you want to build a cipher, can actually discourage doing multi-glyphs because it's such a time hassle. And I think there's a team, I forget who, that's doing color picking, and they're able to actually calculate what is the best column to put these cubes in, and we're trying to model a system similar to theirs, but I forget who it is. Does anyone know who it is?
I know currently Omega Robotics out of C-City does that.
Oh,
I'm
right.
not sure of anyone else.
Okay, so
Yeah,
you can see
kudos to them.
the Blue Alliance has 1 column right now on the near box. Great.
Very close to 3.
Yeah, the Blue Alliance has 2 columns right now, and the Red Alliance has almost 2 filled boxes.
You can see that all the cubes are getting pushed to their new normal spot at the bottom of the field. And there was a lot of debate at the beginning of the year if this entire FTC challenge is corrupt because you can get 4 ciphers and it's just auto left. But in reality, you can see there's always these cubes that are just so hard to get for a team that you have to pick for speed, and you just have to be the one to finish your cipher first if you want to not avoid getting those last reject cubes, you know.
Okay, now you can see both the Red Alliance ciphers are done, so they're both going for the relics now.
I mean, yeah, this was an amazing strategy. There's 50 seconds left, and you already have 1 relic out, and the second Red Alliance relic is waiting in queue. They're just waiting. Now we got 40 seconds left, and we're done. I mean, this is why you guys got the world record. It's so unfortunate that the penalties killed it.
So you can see Blue Alliance still hasn't finished their ciphers yet.
In fact, the far box on Blue Alliance only has 6 glyphs inside of it. They're in cipher, but it only has 6 glyphs. And 2753 is working hard.
That's partly because of all the blocking that takes place, and because all the glyphs are way pushed into the corner, and it's just so hard to get to.
I very much agree with Peter on that one. It's all about the speed. But it also presents an issue if you have a relic mechanism that's built exactly the size to be able to get to the edge of the 3rd zone. Because if there's a block, that's 6 inches less that you can put your relic out, and that might be the difference between 2 and 3.
So you can see here at around 25 seconds or so, Red Alliance was completely done, both balanced.
Yeah, and the pushing with the blocks especially starts to have starts to cause trouble for teams that don't have like intakes that are powered, because if they have to be able to line up and then grab the block itself before going and moving to get another one, it means that they can't just grab and go. And with everything moving around, it gets really difficult for teams to grab. My team, for example, we didn't have a powered intake, and we found that to cause us a lot of troubles, and in the long run, hurt us pretty bad in matches.
Okay, so yeah, the Red Alliance won the semifinal by winning matches 2 and 3 in that.
Yeah, so Ethan, I think you're up.
Yeah. So over to the Hopper Division Finals. Excuse me, Tesla Division Finals. The Tesla Division Finals saw the number 1 seeded alliance of Red, 9971 Landbros, 72244 Out of the Box Robotics, in 7117 the Blockheads against the number 3 seeded alliance. In blue of 9867 Evolution Robotics, 8645 the Robotic Doges, and 4643 Frog Rocks. The Red Alliance ended up winning the Tesla Finals 2-1, and now we're going to watch the second finals match.
It's the other way around. The Blue Alliance won the Blue Alliance
and
won
so it's switched around. Blue Alliance won, and that was the one with Landbros, Out of the Box, and the Blockheads.
Yeah. So they were the 3rd ranked alliance. That makes sense.
So
my bad.
I don't know if we'll see it in this match, because I forget if it was in there. But at least throughout the playoffs, we was found that Blockheads was running into a lot of ESD and disconnection issues throughout, and which ended up hurting the odds a little bit through. But they were still able, with very, very strong glyph robots and Lambros and Out of the Box, were able to win the Tesla division.
So yeah.
So this auto is really weird, because you can see the Red Alliance had a robot that crossed the line and started ramming into Out of the Box, 7244. And so one really cool thing you're going to see about Out of the Box is that they actually use their relic arm to extend into the safe zone. So that's why they're going to extend their relic arm.
Yep, so they extend their relic arm back they park in the lift pit and extend back into the safe zone in order to claim those parking points, which is a really interesting way that kind of avoids some driving time.
I didn't even know that was legal.
Yeah,
it's the vertical plane, that's all they have to do.
Yeah.
And so, of course, the Red Alliance got a lot of penalties for crossing the line and interfering with Out of the Box. And
Out of the Box looks like they're not moving right now.
So they're disconnected for a little, like the first 10 seconds or so.
Meanwhile, Landbros is right back at it.
Yeah. Something just to point out that seems kind of trivial that probably everyone from the East watching, but ESR had live scoring. That's what we're seeing right now. That's pretty impressive. Personally, I think that's where FTC should move. We should move to at least at the state level. I understand for league meets, since you're not doing like live streaming, so you don't need live scoring. Some states don't have as many resources as others, but I guess on the super regional. So yeah, it should be at the state level now.
I mean, as an example, Massachusetts State's was literally a live stream from one of 3737 Hank's Tank's kids' webcam on his laptop. He taped it to a banister so that it would stay in place, and it nearly fell off twice.
Yeah, so one thing about Out of the Box's robot that I found was pretty. So they have a system of tons of little Omni wheels that apparently they got out from Australia. I don't know how, but they found these things that are tiny. But this was one of the most successful non-pass-through robots that I saw in playoffs. Other than obviously Wizards ones with the flipping it, but they had a very smooth and well-designed system that actually popped out on a spring with a linear slide to expand, which was very well done.
So what's really good about that spring is that even if they go a little too far into the crypto box, it won't damage their mechanism, because it'll just spring back into their robot.
Yeah, spring-loaded things are the best.
Yeah, they really are. So you can see Lane Bros is just about done with their cipher here. Looks like they're showing the last 2 glyphs. Out of the box, let's see, has 4 or 5 in the crypto box right now. And it looks like they're taking the early lead over Red, even with that disconnect.
Yeah, his glyphs out. Oh, yeah.
So you can see his cipher is about to fall down, but Out of the Box is a consistent double relic team, usually. So they're going for that double relic.
They also have a lot of margin in their mechanisms so that they can be blocked by the cube and still score.
So one thing about out of the box's mechanism is their relic slides is that it can go from 2 glyphs away. So it doesn't. They don't have to clear any glyphs if there are any. They can just extend.
And
I think it's a really good
there's
design.
yeah, and if there's more space, more like if say they have an empty crypto box, I've seen them actually collect the glyphs just to get them out of the way and then score their relic.
I've seen also other teams do that.
But yeah, I don't know if it was in this finals match or another one, but an interesting tactic that out of the box ended up doing, which ended up hurting them in the long run, was actually taking a glyph and throwing it over the balancing stone. What that did was if they were able to do that and then finish both their ciphers, it would make it almost impossible for the opponent's team to finish a second cipher. However, it ended up backfiring on them in the match where the opponents, I believe, double ciphered.
All right,
before
so
they were able to.
yes, we just watched Tesla finals.
Okay.
Yeah, RJ,
so,
do you want to continue on?
So moving on, we're gonna go to watch the Hopper finals match 1, and so this is teams. It's 12538 Eborg Robotics and 7182 Mechanical Paradox Cube against 11115 Brainstormers and 11115 Gluten Free and 8644 Brainstormers. And so yeah, cue up the video.
Yep. So there we go.
All right, beginning of autonomous again. Both ours and Brainstormers. Just one thing you just can't miss is that ball and that first cube. It's just too many points. You have to have a good ball and you have to have a first cube, or otherwise, I think it's like 75. You're down. So for any teams wishing to make their auto more reliable, don't sacrifice those first 2 things.
And so here you can see Gluten Free, I'm pretty sure, downgraded to a 4-glyph auto so that they wouldn't get penalties.
Yep.
And they're running that alongside, looks like Brainstormer's 2 or 3 glyph right there against.
And so you would hear often only 4 glyphs.
Yeah.
It's remarkable that we're saying only 4 glyphs.
Yeah, I think it's pretty remarkable. Okay,
it really is insane.
Yeah, at the end of Autonomous, you can see that both alliances, it looks like they're tied for 3 glyphs in the box each. So, yeah, it looks pretty even by here. I might have gotten that wrong.
Yeah,
it looks like Gluten Free did not score their second 2 blocks in that autonomous.
Yeah, it seems like Mechanical Paradox Cube got their initial one and then 2 additional ones.
Okay, so here you can see actually 7182. They start playing a sort of defense-esque thing where they start grabbing glyphs from the Red Alliance side, which makes it harder for the Red Alliance to actually get glyphs.
Here's some static disconnect. So our glyph mechanism is actually permanently stuck in our up position, and we have to communicate with Brainstormers to do the cubes while we just do relics, because that's all we can do. It's just static and it happens.
And stuff like that kind of differentiates really good teams from the great ones is how do you deal with issues that pop up during matches.
So you can see on the Blue Alliance, Eborg and MP Cubed are working on their ciphers, and they're going pretty well.
Yeah, I want to. But yeah, this is such an incredible. Oh yeah, I remember. Peter, everyone else at ESR, did they spray the field static-wise?
Yeah, they did spray the field.
They did.
That's interesting. They did not spray the field at North. The FTA was very stern that there was no need to spray the field. That there were no static issues, and there were. I don't think in the finals and semifinals there was much static in the early qualification matches. There was tons of static issues, notably with 50-40. Jacob from that team was has been very vocal about the fact that there was static issues.
Okay, so here you could see Brainstormers has 2 cubes left to finish, and so now that they have finished their they're gonna finish their cipher. Gluten-free is gonna do the relic and get both relics.
One thing just a tip for new teams, it is actually possible, and we have a mode that is now actually able to detect static by simply looking for a touch sensor that we basically have. It's like some wire that will always return 1, and then once, if you see it's 0, then you know you enter static. So any team that has problems like this, now our robot's like actually able to recalibrate our lift pose. So if that had happened today, we wouldn't have had that problem. Just something different.
Yeah, that's a very interesting strategy. I like that a lot.
Okay, so now gluten-free is going for the balance while Brainstormers is finishing off the cubes. The blue alliance has a double cipher by now. Or almost a double cipher.
Oh, yeah, looks like they mentioned that one block.
Yeah.
And Brainstormers go to balance.
Yeah, get this last second relic out there.
And so, one of the things you have to be careful for while double relicking, you're just going to see this, is that you don't knock down your other relic.
That happened in the previous match.
Which just happened.
Relic rolling.
And so, luckily this time both stayed in the zone, but sometimes it can knock out one of the relics, which means you're ending up with less points than you started off with.
Yeah, it's all about the driver practice and coordination. What you'll see a lot of the better teams doing, I see the Brainstormers doing this, I see Gluten-free doing this, I see like a lot of the teams in the finals at Super Regionals doing this, is they'll put their first flip as far to this side as relic. They'll put their first relic as far to the side as possible, and then that gives them a ton of space on the other side of the mat to basically be able to put their second relic wherever.
Yeah, I think we're moving on. Justin, do you want to introduce our finals team?
Yeah, so in the finals, so you have your winners of your Hopper division, so Gluten-free, Brainstormers, and Wizards, going against the winners of Tesla, which is Lambros, Out of the Box, and Blockheads. The result of this was the Hopper division winning 2-0, and I think we'll be watching both matches.
Yeah, we're watching.
I think we're just gonna watch finals match 2.
All right.
Yeah, I'll cue that up. Here we go.
Is this static round in auto? Oh yeah.
Yeah, this is the static round.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're going out normally, and we're searching for cubes, and we don't go back until we actually see we have cubes in there. But you can also see Wizards is also depositing their first glyph, and I'm gonna have to agree in the far box. The Wizard's strategy to not go for 2 first is just such a more conservative move, and yes, you're only going to get 3, but you're not going to miss that first glyph because it's just so hard to maneuver through that far. So Arjun, I got to give kudos. Yeah. That is definitely a more consistent decision that
Okay, so here is, we got penalties in auto, so we had an ESR shock at the end of auto, which caused our autonomous to restart, and then gluten-free.
As well as ours, we lost.
Yeah. So and then when we touched them, their auto stopped and got shocked. So we both ended up crossing the line in auto, which put us back a lot.
That's a risk.
ESD.
Yeah, I think Worlds will have less of that because it's in the summer. But those balancing stones do accumulate a lot of static because they're just isolated islands that it's just not fun.
Yeah. So now we're both working on ciphers on the Red Alliance and same on the Blue Alliance.
Taking out some glyphs from auto.
Yes. Have you guys found anything that you can do to mitigate some of that static issue?
So, for one thing, the encoder static, try to always have overrides for the encoders, just because encoders can static out, and even if this isn't a fix for static, it'll let you still function. It's just... And so, another thing that happened at the end of that autonomous is that we lost 2 of our encoders. We lost the drivetrain encoder as well as our relic extension encoder.
Right, yeah.
So, yeah.
Also remember that you really can detect static if you use the core device interface, at least in modern robotics. All you need is just a simple touch sensor that's, I don't know, against the wall, or we do it through a analog wire, but then you can go in to recalibrate your stuff so that it's not shown.
Okay, so here Gluten-Free's finished their cipher really early, and so now they're gonna help us wizards finish our cipher.
That was hard to maneuver through.
Yeah, and then Landrose has also finished their cipher on the Blue Alliance, and are gonna score a relic.
Which is a slightly different strategy, and kind of the difference between those two strategies is really interesting and unique team to team, how well you can maneuver together scoring glyphs or one focusing more on
Okay, so here you can see is actually our relic.
Dude!
Our relic arm couldn't retract because we didn't have an override. And so our whole strategy for the relic is we just put it down and retract the arm, but we couldn't retract it.
Traffic jam.
And then, yeah.
Get out of the way, they're
getting out of the way.
One thing that's gonna also, like, in these final matches and in worlds to come, you always have to keep good communication with your partner, because anything can happen. You have to be ready to say, okay, we're dead and you guys have to take this, or we're only able to do such and such. It's just so critical to keep communication when anything can go wrong.
Yeah, and one of the, I mean, you can have drivers that are some of the most like mechanically skilled with their robot who are very smooth, but there's a certain point where in very high stress situations and matches such as finals and getting into playoffs and above, the fact to be able to working under stress and when something goes wrong, knowing what to do is incredibly important, and is very important to have that kind of skill if you're going to be a successful driver.
And so here you can see actually Blue Alliance didn't finish one of their ciphers, and then on the Red Alliance we didn't balance because we didn't want to knock down a cipher because that's always bad.
Yeah.
So
auto balance.
So yeah. Thank you guys for everyone on the stream right now. As you guys can probably see, I don't know how easy it is to read the live stream with a little announcement up there. I'll get to that in a second. Does anyone want to say any quick last words to our 33 viewers right now?
always have manual overrides for everything.
Yeah.
I'm with Arjun on this.
Mechanically isolate your robot from static too. Like, it helps.
How would you do that exactly? I'm kind of confused there.
So, well, what our team did last year was where we ran into troubles early. Is we had done 3D printed parts around our robot in where it would contact the wall, and mainly any other robot. And we also isolated our motor by using 3D printed motor mounts. So we found that actually because we originally had metal to metal, so the motor would go right through a metal mount to the plates, whereas going motor to plastic to metal prevented the shock from going through our motors into our electric system.
So having some sort of like robot bumper would mitigate static, right?
Yeah. Yes, that we did that. We did that last year in Velocity Vortex, and after putting outside bumpers on, we didn't have any static issues for the entire year.
Almost like turning your bot into FRC bot with full needed bumpers on it. Or I'll just throw
a big custom drivetrain I'm designing has space for bumper mounting.
I'll throw a plug out there. You can just do an all plastic robot. That's what we did this year. We had zero static issues. We had some other issues, but nothing static. This year was actually awesome to see no static issues.
You guys also looked kind of awesome, but that's just how it works.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get to my outro here. So, thank you to all of you who tuned in the show. We greatly appreciate it. If you enjoyed the show, make sure to follow us here or go to Subject on Twitch so that you're notified the next time we go live. You can follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/FTClive and Twitter at liveFTC. Also join us on our Discord. The link is not in the bottom left corner. Arjun, if you still have it, can you throw the Discord link into the Twitch chat? In the next week or two, we will be back here with a recap of the South and West Super Regionals. Hopefully by then we'll have figured out what caused the audio bees. And we need some help with our West and South recaps. So if you're from either of those regions and you want to help out, join the Discord and message Ethan and I, or email us at ftclive@gmail.com. So a little announcement is that this Thursday, I think it's April 6th, is Dress Like Dean Kamen Day. I believe it's his birthday, that's what I heard, hosted by 8808 Ponytail
Posse. It's April 5th.
Ponytail Posse 8808. So if you are going to participate in Dress Like Dean Kamen Day, I think they want people to wear as much denim as they can. If you don't have a jean top, I guess a jean top works, and jeans, anything. And if you do participate, take a picture of yourself, take a selfie, or take some pictures with your friends, and tag FTC Live on Twitter or Facebook, or DM us the picture. DM us either me or Ethan on Discord, and to be featured either on our next show if you can figure out pictures, or on our social media accounts. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Thank you to everyone. Ethan, do you have anything to say?
I'm good.
All right. Well, thank you guys, and good night.